Hello everybody, this is Carol Stimmel. I'm the founder and CEO of Manifest Mind in New York, in the United States. And we're at the Energy studio at the European Utility Week 2014. And I am with Ray Kleiner, who is the chief executive and founder of a company called Analytics4Energy. I met Ray back in last spring in London, where we got to hear each other talk about our visions for data analytics. And I was very excited about what Ray had to say, and so he's here today to tell us a little bit about that. And Ray, I'm just hoping you can tell us about Analytics4Energy and what your role is.
Well, basically, the company was launched in March of this year, but actually we formed the company in back end of 2013. We're really a specialist company dealing with business intelligence and analytics at enterprise level, specializing really in energy efficiency.
Okay, so one of the things that I found really interesting about the way you described your vision for me, back when we first were speaking, you talked a little bit about sensors and the Internet of Things.
Right.
I mean, we talk a lot about analytics in this industry, but I think you're taking it a step further. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Yeah, I've actually bought something to show you.
Okay.
This is a kind of a micro sensor.
I'm going to put on my glasses for this.
Okay.
Micro sensor. Right.
For example, Internet of Things is a word that describes many things, but essentially what it's about is about sensors.
Right.
This is a micro sensor. It's a current transformer. It's wireless. It's self-powering, and we can put these, for example, in the distribution boards inside in the electrical system of a company, and these transmit data. And this data then goes to what's called a bridge, which is a transmitter, and the data is received and transmitted then straight into the cloud.
Okay.
We're very excited about this because this is what we call the third revolution. The third revolution is a phrase coined by the economist Jeremy Rifkin, and what he talks about is the connectivity using the internet platform. So we have an explosion going on right now in the Internet of Things. For example, there are about 10 billion devices connected to the internet today. And the second revolution we have going on is that of big data and analytics. We are essentially putting those two things together. That's what's so exciting about what we do.
Well, you know, we hear a lot about big data. I think we've gotten into, you know, a bit of a buzzword kind of world,
exactly,
like big data, like what does that mean? It doesn't, in many ways it doesn't matter, right? But what has impressed me most about you, Ray, is you talk a lot about using that data, what the use cases are, what are the business problems. So Analytics4Energy, can you describe some of the business problems that you would actually solve,
Absolutely,
or that you do solve?
I think, first of all, just to address the question of big data, I think, and analytics actually, there is so much hype surrounding these terms. What's important is not the big data itself, it's getting at the right data. It's finding out exactly which is the right data that we can use to empower the company to make business decisions. So data and analytics are overused words, in my opinion. These devices, these sensors are getting more and more intelligent, so they're actually able to store a lot of data and provide a lot of data. So for us, it's all about having access to the right data. And that, giving that information to the client, gives them effectively the empowerment to make actionable decisions. And it's those actionable decisions, for us, is the most important thing about data. The other thing I would like to mention is that, and this is by a report by KPMG in New York, is that the amount of data that's been created in the last 24 months is greater than the entire data created since the beginning of time. So we're into this incredible explosion of data, and data is actually doubling every 18 months. So there's already a lot of data out there that we actually can tap into to provide better service, to provide management with the right information, and to actually create more efficient businesses.
So, you know, the data becomes useful when you say, as you say, when it's actionable and we get some sense of situational intelligence about it. What I really want to be clear about while we're talking is, first of all, who are your customers? Are you selling to the utility, building managers? I mean, tell us a little bit more about your market.
Right, it's very, very interesting because we set out to specialize really in the energy efficiency space. However, in terms of this kind of technology, we're totally agnostic. So it doesn't really matter where the data is coming from, whether it's sensors or whether it's existing meters or building management systems. All that data we can work with. What's often happening is when we go into a client and talk about energy, they say to us, look, energy is not so important, it's not such a big issue, but we have a problem in our manufacturing, in the production. So what we're finding is that machine data and manufacturing is becoming really quite important in terms of what the customers are looking for us to do.
Okay, well, we don't have too much time left to chat, but what I want to understand is, you have a big vision for analytics. The fact that your technology analytics are agnostic is a big challenge, and that's one I think the utilities and anybody that consumes energy really needs to have that taken care of. But where are we going to see analytics for energy tomorrow? Like, as you start building your foundation and getting deployed, where's your vision going to take you and us consequently?
I think the vision that we have, certainly as a business, is that we are looking and we are dealing with, and we have test cases already done, with some very blue chip companies. And they operate on a global level, so we can grow with them internationally. I think where we can actually make a difference is in the fact that we don't use assumptions in what we do. A lot of products and services out there that are called big data and analytics actually have a high level of assumptions behind them, using benchmarking and these things. The thing about data is if you're looking for the right data in the right place, the answer you get is never the one you expect. And that's very interesting about data, because you have to be open to accept that there is stuff coming at you which is, if you will, another conclusion that you didn't expect. With regard to energy, typically energy costs businesses between 3 and 5% of their sales revenue every year. And yet the finance director of the company, who's signing off the checks to the energy companies, doesn't know what the energy is being used for, where it's going, why it's being used. Is it being used in manufacturing? Is it lighting? For example, we know that 40% of all the energy around the world is consumed in buildings. We also know that 30% of the energy is wasted because they're using it outside of hours, or they put the heating up too high and so forth. So the thing that we can do is we can set those rules, and then we can give that information in real time through emails or through managed service to the client, enabling him to get that part of his business back in control.
Okay, thanks. I think Ray is describing something that's very important, which is the difference between true analytics and what we traditionally have thought of as business intelligence. So I'm really happy Ray joined us. Again, he's with Analytics4Energy, and thanks again for joining us at the Energy studio. And Ray, thanks so much
for having me.
Some time.
It's been such a pleasure.
Okay.
Thank you.